Well, it wouldn't be Twitch if the first time you tried to do a broadcast, you didn't absolutely crash. We're going to gather our poets up again and do take two of this. Hang on, folks. We'll be right with you. Okay. Well, we are back now. We're taking a look right now at Eric Amundsen, who was the last person to speak before I did, and for some reason my speaker view in Zoom isn't working. So, Eric, just make funny faces while I talk, or actually just try to be like my own marionette. Just like as I talk, just try to be the puppet there. So, exactly. Welcome, everybody. We're going to get real Infernal and real Solani with you in just a second. But first, I want to introduce my co host to you. C.S.E. Cooney. C.S.E. Cooney is an award winning poet, an award winning writer, and the love of my life, and the co creator of Negocios Infernales. How you doing, Claire?
Oh, just a little frazzled that our internet just exploded, but maybe it won't this time.
Yeah, or maybe it will. I mean, I've watched enough Twitch channels to just be like, you just gotta have like that desperado sort of approach to it. You're losing all your highs along. Right. Okay, but anyway, what I'd like to do, please, is just quickly go through and say thank you to the poets who are here tonight, and just tell you who we have. We have Alana, David, Tevid, Eric, Brittany, Maria again, Amanda, Deborah, and Christopher. These are our poets that we're putting in the hot seat tonight, who are going to get really infernal real fast for us as we do an infernal salon. So welcome, poets. Wave hello to the camera here as I sort of like flash you through and people can kind of see you and stuff. So let me tell you a little bit about how this works. In an infernal salon, what we do is we draw cards from our deck of destiny. It's called La Baraja del Destino in the game that we made. These cards are a little creepy. They're a little macabre. Some of them are just slightly macabre in that sexy way. So, if you have 11-year-olds, make them avert their eyes now. I think 13 is fine. These are mostly like PG-13 cards. If they can, see, David's statue, they'll be fine. But yeah, so we have these infernal cards. And what we're going to do is we're going to have our poets, all of whom have a penchant for the ghoulish themselves, take inspiration. Ooh, Alana was just showing those cards there. She has her own physical deck of them because she is one of the team members of Outland Entertainment who's publishing the game. So she gets privileges. But yeah, so our poets are going to use the cards for inspiration. Now, poets, what we're going to do is we're going to draw 3 cards at random. You can use 1 card. You can use 2 cards. You can use 3 cards. And remember, you can use any part of a card as well. You don't have to use like the whole thing or the words or whatever happens to you. Whatever these cards do to you, it's correct. So trust the deck. Whatever wild inspiration comes to you, whatever fell thoughts descend upon you as you're washed over and overwhelmed by these cards, trust what they will do to you. Okay? All right. So, I guess what we'll do, Claire, maybe we'll have you just talk to each poet a little bit and just say hello to them, and then we'll go ahead and draw some cards, just so that we can hear everybody's voices and see where they come from.
Okay, now I was told that my sound is really low. Is it still very low?
You sound great.
Okay.
To me.
Well, I'm going to ask because all the Zoom people are giving me thumbs up, I'm going to ask the Twitch people, because that's the Twitch people who are telling me.
Yeah, Twitch is saying very quiet. So lean into the mic. Sometimes this happens with my Mac.
Do you think it's because Zoom is eating my audio? I don't know. This is all very new to me, so.
Let me try something.
Before with Greg, this is our first time streaming on our own. We are babes in the woods.
How is that now, everybody?
Can you hear me now?
It was my fault. I don't know shit about OBS, and I had something turned off that should have been turned on. Oh. So what you were hearing was like Claire coming through my tiny little headphones here. But the microphone that I had on is so good that you could hear Claire coming right out of here. Amazing.
That is amazing. Carlos, you're so good at figuring these things. I would have just started crying. So
I'm crying on the inside. Don't worry. I'm that sort of clown.
So you want me to talk to the poets, introduce them, or like?
Yeah, just them... let's have everybody unmute and just like make this stream, MC17. Like let's just blow the top right off this thing.
Well, poets. How about poets unmute, and I'll call your names and just give a little brief introduction about yourselves and your relationship with poetry. Brittany Warman, we'd love to hear from you.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
All right. So I am Brittany Warman. I run the Carter Hall School of Folklore and the Fantastic most of the time with my best friend, Sarah Cleto. And I am obsessed with poetry, especially folkloric poetry. I love incorporating old stuff and making it brand new.
Perfect. Alana, can we hear from you? Thank you, Brittany.
Hi, I'm Alana, and I mostly write prose, but I love the way that poetry makes my brain work in a different way. So I'm here to try.
Just so you know, Brittany and all the other hats in the room, you're getting extravagantly complimented by the Twitch chat. Oh, I can't wait to hear what you come up with. David, can we hear from you, please?
Remember where the unmute button is. Hi, I'm David Sklar, founder of the Poetry Crisis Line and author of various things. Although not as impressive as some of the biographies on this group, but some things.
Oh, we're all just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Maria Schrader, can we hear from you?
Hi everyone, I'm Maria. I'm currently poetry editor at Apparition Literary Magazine, and I write poetry myself. So both sides of the altar there.
David, they're really interested in the Poetry Crisis line over on the Twitch chat. If you will just put in our Zoom chat, the Poetry Crisis line website, then I will tell the Twitch. Maria, can you also do the same for the place that you're editing for right now? And I'll knock it into the Twitch chat as well.
Yeah. And Maria, are you open to submissions right now?
We are not. We just finished submissions for our nostalgia themed issue and just finalized our table of contents for that. But we will be open up again, I believe, in November for our first theme of next year, which is Dread.
Dread?
Ooh.
That's a good theme. I bet all the poets here can write something on Dread.
I better see something from everyone.
Maria Alexander. Ooh. Oh, there we go.
Hi, I'm Maria, and I've been writing poetry for over 20 years. I have 2 poetry collections out, and one of them, it's been a while since I've put it out, but the last one was called At Loose Ends, Poetry for the Decadent, the Damned, and the Absent-Minded.
What a title.
And it was nominated for the Bram Stoker Award.
Ooh.
And I still write a lot of other creepy stuff that's some of it's won awards and some of it hasn't, but it's all spookylicious.
Yes. So it's your season. We have just entered your season this week.
Yes. I love it.
And for the any link that you want, like for your poetry collection, if you want to drop it in the Zoom chat, and I will copy it over into the Twitch chat. We have a question this would be for David Sklar. Is Poetry Crisis like stuck on a story and need help deal? Lots of writers here. So if it is, we'll be sure to add a command for that. So Dave, you want to just talk really quickly what Poetry Crisis line is?
Poetry Crisis line is it's mostly a cartoon. It was originally just some scripts that were posted online with the idea that they would eventually be picked up by actors, and then I started thinking, oh well, eventually I'll start hiring artists, and then I started drawing them myself. And so Poetry Crisis line is poorly trained counselors responding to poetry of the day. Let me see if I can find
Right. So like Proof Rock would write in and they'd be like, I've measured out my life with coffee spoons. And the person would be like, oh, have you tried some tea lately? Like that sort of joke, right?
that sort of thing. Here is
Oh, yeah. Nice.
this is from 2 weeks ago. This is Leonard Cohen calling the rock and roll epidemiology line.
Oh, that's awesome.
Talk more, David, so we can see you.
Oh, sorry?
I was going to say, just talk so we can see the screen. Claire took over. There you go.
Okay, all right. So you want me to talk so you can see the screen, and is it legible on there? We've got the dialogue goes like this. If you want to love her, I'll do anything you ask me to. Will you get vaccinated? And if you want another kind of love, I'll wear a mask for you. That's what I'm asking everyone to do, yes.
Mwah, chef kiss. Hilarious.
Beautiful. We are going to have some fun poetry tonight, friends. Amanda J. McGee, you with the hat, the original hat. Talk to us.
So I've been writing poetry for a long time. Is the first thing I ever wrote, but predominantly I am a fantasy and horror writer now. I did my undergrad in half of my undergraduate degree was in Spanish literature, specifically focusing in poetry. So I'm really excited about Negocios Infernales.
Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. So like, were you reading a lot of the verse writing, like plays, like Lope de Vega and stuff?
We were mostly focusing in the Baroque era
Oh,
for
okay.
a lot of it. So a lot of religious poetry. San Juan de la Cruz and those kinds of guys.
Yeah, right on, right on. Awesome. Welcome.
Your Halloween veil is much admired, just so you know, Amanda J. McGee. Tina Jens, the great salonier herself.
Hello. I'm Tina Jens. As they were referring, I run a reading series and have for something like 35 years of my life. The current one is a monthly show called Gumbo Fiction Salon that is held in person during warm months in Chicago and virtual in cold months in Chicago. So our November show will be the first one back virtually. I wrote poetry in junior high and high school and then got away from it, writing fiction and nonfiction. And then I encountered Claire's poetry book, How to Flirt in Fairyland and Other Wild Rhymes. And I was reminded how much I love mythic poetry and used that as a textbook in the course I taught at Columbia College for several years. And that has gotten me back into writing some mythic poetry of my own.
That's just very flattering. And I have admired your poetry. I remember it was the Ella Fitzgerald one, was one of the first long form poems of yours I read, and it just had such a love of music and history and rhythm in it, and I just deeply admired it. And you have nurtured some fine poets in your fantasy classes, may I say, Maria Schrader being among them. Deborah, may we please hear from you?
Hi, yes. So I'm a mythologist and lapsed academic. I succumbed to poetry writing in high school and I've just never recovered. So I've decided to lean into the beautiful brain rot, explore these cathedrals of metaphor and the macabre. And that's where we are. So intermittently published, delighted to be here.
And leaning into the beautiful brain rot that is poetry. Yes, that's why it's almost October. Christopher, we'd love to hear from you.
So, hi, sorry, I was just writing down beautiful brain rot. Hi. I'm Christopher. I'm totally out of my depth here, by the way, because I have not been published in any form yet, working on it. You know how it is. Hi, Chad might know me as Classico. I kind of made a transition from text to, face on screen. So, yeah, what can I say? Yeah, I'm just happy to be here. Quick shout out to my son who's currently watching. It's 2:25 for both of us right now. So this is going to be a ride.
We're so happy to have you and your son. Hello, Christopher's son.
Yeah.
And it's late even for us, and it's only 8:25 where we are. So if it were 2:25 a.m., we would just not even be here. We would not even be here. So we are so grateful that you're here and willing to write poetry with us in the dark hours of your night.
Absolutely. I mean, these are literally my pajamas. I couldn't even put on a shirt for you, Twitch. So welcome, Christopher. Welcome, everybody. We get everybody?
No, we're going to do Eric and also chat, dear chat. I am dropping right into your midst the newest class that the Carter Hall School of Folklore and the Fantastic I think, is doing, and it's on the Gothic realms. They do amazing webinars, and they have an incredible Patreon with lots of levels, a salon level. There's a read along book club level. It's all very exciting. So you might want to keep your eye on them. Eric, I've known Eric for a long time. He's long been a poet in the fantasy and science fiction genre. Talk to us, Eric.
Hello, my name is Eric. I am new to Twitch.
Sorry, you have a hat.
Yes, I did grab the hat off of my my backdrop, and yes, it's kind of difficult to wear with the headphones, but at the same time, it's not as itchy as it usually is. So, yes, I have been semi-retired writing for a little while, as work got too worky, but I am hoping to reverse that and crawl back out of the primordial ooze, and maybe this is Well, I'm really excited to be part of this because I did it once before and it was amazing. And I am a part-time fortune teller on the side, so any sort of oracle deck makes me very, very happy. And you guys have the best oracle deck I have seen.
That is
I'm really chomping at the bit to get it.
Awesome.
We're
And
so
you're
excited.
also a game designer, Eric. Is that right?
Yeah, a little bit. But that's kind of like a hobby and stuff like that.
Sure. I mean, most of us.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you mean, but I've got nothing to show people.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody. Now, did we get everybody, darling?
Yes, we have everybody. And poets, I just wanted to remind you that you'll want to have Twitch up, twitch.tv/Arvin Elleron, so that you'll see the cards that Carlos is drawing for us. You'll also want to have your Twitch muted so that you're not hearing Zoom in one ear and Twitch in the other. Just so you know, I've done that on multiple occasions, and we don't want that for you. All right, are we ready to go into the next stage of drawing cards for our poets?
I think we're ready. All right.
Okay.
Poets, sharpen thy nibs. Here we go. We're going to start drawing cards from the deck of destiny. So if you've never seen this before, we meaning Claire and myself, have developed a game called Negocios Infernales. We're going to tell you a little bit more about it a little later, but it's basically a role-playing game with no dice. So instead of like the Dungeons & Dragons, roll a d20 and see if you punch the dragon in the face sort of thing, what you do is you draw cards and you narrate what happens in a much more fluid way. What we found, however, is besides it being a pretty cool game mechanic, is that it is gold when it comes to writing prompts. Claire and I have written several stories and poems, some of which have been published, and we're going to read to you from tonight from some published work of just the inspiration that we've taken from the cards ourselves, and we've held salons before where people have done wondrous things with these. So poets, if you are ready, I just got this from the poets. Yes, we're about 20 there's about a 20-second lag for Twitch. So like I'm going to say, here is card number 1, and you're going to hear it on Zoom, and then nothing's going to happen for 19 seconds, as if you were in like the Phantom Zone from the Superman movies. You're going to be, pressing yourself to the screen, wondering what's happening. But 19 seconds will pass, and then you will see the card appear. So right now, I have switched over to the card, and what you will see appearing in just a moment is the first card that you'll be able to draw from inspiration. I'm going to show you all 3 cards in large format, then you'll be able to see all 3 cards, and then we're going to start a timer, and the magic is going to start. All right, so
this was hilarious getting the timer to work, by the way. We had quite a morning, but Carlos is a genius and figured it out.
Yes. Thank you. I'm a genius. I accept all compliments right now.
And yes, Christopher, for tonight, because we weren't sure of the difficulties and the complications of running a stream, instead of picking individual cards for every poet, which is what we've done in the past, to sort of streamline it, we have decided to pick 3 cards. And poets, you can use all the cards, 1 of the cards, 2 of the cards. It's totally up to you, or the card can just like spark something, and then you could ignore the cards and just write a poem that you feel like writing. But that's what we're doing tonight.
Okay. And so without further ado, here is card number 1. No. Here is card number 1.
1, 2, 3.
Hold on just
4.
a second. Here's not card number 1. Damn it, OBS.
Here is us learning how to use OBS. Here we are. Oh, if only I had some sort of prop. I have with me a glossary of etymological dictionary of obsolete and uncommon words, antiquated phrases, proverbial expressions, obscure allusions, and words which have changed their significations. Oh, I talked enough. Okay, here we go.
I figured it out. Pain is the opposite of thought, friends. This is your first card. Notice the heart along the border, all of those capillaries and veins circulating there. So.
It's what we call the sangre suit. And
That's
poets, if you want, if it would help you right now while the card is big, and this goes for you too, Chad, if you want to write along, you could do a screen cap right now of that image so that you'll have it with you. They'll still be up the whole time, but they'll be a little smaller. So just while it's up.
Okay. So now that you've seen that, we're going to move on to number 2. Are you ready? We are transitioning in 3, 2, 1. And now you have 20 seconds to wait while it catches
So
up.
here in my glossary and etymological dictionary of obsolete and uncommon words, etc., etc., I'm going to open randomly and I'm going to tell you something that you'll love. Mermaid Tavern. The house was situated in Cornholio, and was the frequent resort of the dramatic authors and the wits and choice spirits of the age. Shakespeare, B. Johnson. I like that they've just I know Ben's. Oh, sorry. There we go. The second card is up.
That was amazing. I tried to pull my shirt over my head, Cornholio style, but unfortunately I disappeared because of my background. The card reads, though people are suffering, should we not drink wine?
This is what we call the Lagrima suite, as you can see from the kind of greenish border. The borders indicate what suit they are, and the Lagrimas is the tears of life, like the previous one was Sangre, the blood of life.
Give everybody a good long look at that.
A chance to screen cap it if you so desire.
Absolutely. All right. I think we're ready to transition to card number 3. Actually, let me check the Zoom chat. 1 second here, friends. Everybody.
Usual Twitch delay, same 3 cards for all of us. Oh, yes, the cards know. The cards know. Everybody's fine.
We're switching in 3, 2, 1, and now we wait.
Cheat bread, a diminutive of man cheat from michette, a small loaf made of fine flour. Todd strangely derives it from aché, bought bread as distinguished from coarse bread made at home. Cheat bread, everyone. Ooh, and here we go.
Thrones make children of us all.
This is what we call the Rayo suit, which I get the word suit and sweet still mixed up all the time. The Rayo suit is the spark of life. It's the orange lightning border. We have 10 cards in each suit in this deck and 7 suits total, making for quite a large deck of 70 oracle cards in La Baraja del Destino, the deck of destiny.
So, folks, as we focus here, I'm going to just let you get a good long look at that. Poets, if there are any problems or anything in the chat, let me know now. You're going to see all 3 cards in smaller format when I pull up the next screen on Twitch. But if there's anything going on that you would like to tell me, you can just tell me in the chat. And yeah, we're getting some good comments here, about this being a good start to a character. Interesting. For your dramatic monologues a la Robert Browning style.
So, and I wanted to tell you, poets, that when we start, there's 2 things that will happen. You'll want to mute us because Carlos and I are just going to be chatting away in your ears, but we're going to have a timer right up there on the screen counting down. If you need an extra, oh my gosh, 20 minutes, just set your phone to make sure that you're back in time to read to us the fruits of your labors.
All right, folks. So I've now transitioned so that we are back on Zoom and you can see all 3 cards. Just to remind you, pain is the opposite of thought. Though people are dying, should we not drink wine? And thrones make children of us all. So when you are ready, which means get ready real fast, we're going to give you 20 minutes. And you are going to generate wonders.
Wonders, no pressure.
Yeah, okay. So I think what we'll do is we will go ahead and start the timer here. So, folks, you have 20 minutes.
Hey, Hernandez, can you bring us gallery view so that they're all, or because I don't think that you've never come large when you're talking. You're always little. So
I'm always a little guy. Yeah,
we might as always all be little rather than
all right.
Big.
Let's see if that looks good on the channel there. All right, this is all of us now, folks.
Yay, that's better.
Excellent. All three are hyper real recent events and all. Yeah. Yikes. Okay, folks. 20 minutes on the clock. I am starting the countdown now.
All right, poets, mute us because we're just going to be chatting all this time.
It's actually kind of hard to mute in Zoom, so you can put in headphones and then take them off or whatever. But
oh, that's true. Carlos, entertain everyone while I go get a copy of our comic book because I do not think I will be able to read the text at this size. So just 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, this is the first time that I have run the Arvon Eleron channel, so I'm going to use it now for karaoke. I've gotta be me. What else could I be? I should do it William Shatner style, right? No, but Claire will be back in a moment. And in fact, I will give you a preview of what we're going to be looking at here. We are going to be looking at
Hello, I'm back. What's up? Oh. What are you doing? I should read another glossary and etymological dictionary of the obsolete shrift, the popish ceremony of auricular confession of sins to a priest. Shrite, shrieked, cried out. Shrog, the top branch of a tree. Sib, S-I-B-B, a relation in blood. Well, we know that one because it's like sibling, right? Oh, so you can hear me, but not Carlos. Carlos, they lost you? He's just having, it's just, don't worry. He'll figure it out because, again, genius. Simar, S-I-M-A-R, a costly robe worn by ladies. Singult, S-I-N-G-U-L-T, a sigh. Sometimes spelt S-I-N-G-U-L-F-E, singulf, thick rising singlet, his full heart oppressed. I've never even heard that word. I love this book. It's really great for world building. Covine, a deceitful agreement between two persons to injure another. It is now only used as a law term and sometimes for craft or deceit generally. Covine, wicked tongue which that the covine of every lover can divine. That's Chaucer. I should probably read more Chaucer. So yes, Carlos was telling you about our Negocios Infernales comic. Oh, you can't see my face right now. Negocios Infernales. He even has like all the control, so he'd be able to like scroll up. We're going to read you this whole beautiful comic, which is only, I think, 8 pages, and show you all of the great pictures of that Beck did. Oh, I think you can see my face now.
Yeah, I just went ahead and switched it. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right, so I don't know what the heck is happening, but I'm going to try this again. 1 second. Okay, now you can hear me here, right?
You're wonderful.
This whole thing. Oh my God. Okay.
I know. And Greg makes it look so easy. Arv is just like, hey, I do this 7 times a week.
Of Pearl.
7 hours a day.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? It's amazing.
Well, thank you so much, chat, for being patient. This is literally my first time trying to do this on OBS, and I suck. But anyway, Claire, shall we do a dramatic reading now?
Yes, but the rising tides is here. That's Brendan. We love him.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yes. Welcome, welcome. Okay. So
we're reading dramatically.
We are reading Negocios Infernales. And it's hard to tell a little bit like what actually you can see on the screen here. So I'm hoping as I scroll here, you'll be able to see. But Claire and I are just going to like alternate between panels because, we didn't like pick parts and things like that. So she was a tyrannical queen who thought he was the devil himself. There's your devil.
And we're scrolling, right?
Yeah. So,
right, because you're ahead of me because you're in the other room.
Right.
He was an alien promoting peace and love throughout the universe. Actually, I have my own copy right in front of me, so I can just use this.
What kind of infernal bargain will they strike? So that is the cover, folks, and we think it's pretty sexy.
Super good. The artist is Rebecca Houston,
right.
And she also did all of the illustrations on the Baraja del Destino that you see tonight. So we're so lucky to have her.
Yeah.
She's an incredible tattoo artist in Chicago. So if you're in the area, go to Heathen Inc.
I wanted to hire her partially because I'd seen her work on Inktober for a few seasons, and it was just so incredible. I thought it'd be perfect for this cards. And of course, the game is being published by Outland Entertainment, to whom we are extremely grateful. There's Outland symbol.
And Alana, as we've mentioned, Alana here, the poet, is in fact our editor. We just finished the second edits of our rule book. We're so excited about it. But here we go.
All right, so I'll do panel 1, darling. Massive and breathtaking, the planet Gloriana has the largest concentration of organic life in the known universe. Some of it
is even human.
The cosmic consciousness, a collective made up of the most advanced and powerful species in the multiverse, has come to observe humanity's progress on Gloriana.
Tell me when you've scrolled up and I'll read.
Yes. I have not. Now I have.
As usual, the humans have proven to be a terrible disappointment.
Bad news, everyone.
The Queen of Espada is about to sign religious persecution into law.
Try to get it positioned well here. Okay, and so the aliens just shouting here. They're like, again?
Didn't the same thing just happen on Vodic 91?
The entire species needs some serious therapy.
Why do humans enjoy persecution so much?
Espada is the most powerful nation on Gloriana. If it begins a religious war at this delicate time, the planet may never recover.
That is why I am proposing that the cosmic consciousness take bold action.
We must visit Reina Resoluta, Queen of Espada, and convince her to call off this inquisition before it begins.
Unless, of course, the cosmic consciousness believes it is unethical for us to interfere with the self-determinancy of primitive cultures.
Oh, Blue Pluck! You are such a card!
We mess with primitive species all the time.
Oh, man. So these are sort of like establishing shots of the coral castle. Where
Isn't that pretty? She made it look like it's actual coral.
Yeah. So hear me, O people of Espada, and be glad. Scrolling.
Today, our beloved Reina Resoluta makes worship of La Diosa mandatory for all citizens of Espada.
From this day forward, sin will not simply be wrong, it will be illegal.
Oh, and then we've got some beep, boop, beep.
Yeah, I have to kind of like scroll. This is like a full page one, so I'm kind of like doing an up-down thing right now. So there they are, all the stunned courtiers.
And the aliens appear right in their midst with their little like gadgets and gizmos.
Yeah, note the orb. It's going to be important later here, folks.
Note the orb.
So, yeah, they're still not very pleased, just kind of like looking at people. And then the guards finally respond. Invaders in the throne room!
Protect La Reina!
Attack!
It can never be easy with humans, can it?
But luckily, Blue Pluck, whom I'm very proud to say I named, has his little magic orb. Not really magic, but, any technology sufficiently advanced, etc. Presses on the orb, and whoosh go the people in the air. And what does that say there, Claire?
Please don't attack us humans. We come in peace.
Oh, but Matrona Bella has some other ideas. I have trained all my life for this moment.
To slay fell demons in the name of La Diosa.
Have at you, Hellspawn!
Luckily, Bloop Fluck is there again with its little sweet orb of glory. Bleep bloop.
And basically makes giant eagle vulture things appear. They grab Matrona Bella by her wrists, as you can see in the bottom right corner, and then whisk her away through a window. That's the end of, well, not the end. I shouldn't say that. But so, seeing how the aliens have responded, there is disarray in the courtiers. Devils in the Coral Castle!
It is La Diosa's judgment.
You'll see that our implacable Reina is looking, well, implacable. She goes down here to the aliens, talks to them face to face, and says, you know, the woman who attacked you is Matrona Bella. She is the spiritual leader of Espada. Will your eagles kill her?
Oh dear, no. They'll just fly her around for a while until she calms down.
I think we should perhaps continue our parley in private. Perhaps you can send your magic, or use your magic to send everyone else to their homes? Unharmed, of course.
Oh, it's not magic. This device is called...
Cease speaking, Dark Flarf! We must work within the primitive worldview of these humans.
Oh, right. Sorry. One magic spell coming up.
And bloop, they flarf away. And the queen continues. I asked you to clear the room so we could speak plainly with one another. You are devils. You want our souls. I can get you souls. What I want to know is, what do I get in return?
Your Highness, how about you think of us as your benefactors? The word devil has a lot of baggage.
Yes, good thinking, fiend. We will have to keep the identities of everyone who enters into bargains with you absolutely secret.
Look, can we start over? My friends and I are part of the cosmic consciousness, a group of aliens.
Work within her worldview, remember?
Sigh. Fine, we're devils. What sort of bargains do humans usually make with devils?
Infernal ones. The end. And so, like we said, this is going to be from Outland Entertainment. They publish comics and games and all sorts of great stuff. Alana is their fiction editor, and they put out many, many really cool anthologies. Claire and I have been part of several of them. And this is Negocios Infernales.
And Hernandez, I don't see our timer. Do we have a time right now?
Oh, well, I
countdown?
just have to move us back
to
this
I
view.
See.
And now you can see that the poets have something like 6 minutes and 50 seconds left.
Excellent. Well, that gives you time to read your poem inspired by the cards that you wrote a few months ago. Would be like, what, late last year?
Yeah, I think so. We were just going to read just a little bit of work, each of us, to sort of like give you a sense of like what you might expect tonight. I wrote this based on a few cards that I drew, and it was published by the Deadlands, and it's called On the Mobius. I won't resist. I know I can't. I'm statue still. I'm scentless. Take a whiff. There's nothing left of mind or fear or promises. I'm statue still. Of scent bereft. I'm sea glass tumbled smooth by salt. I don't mind fear. It promises to come and go and go and come and go. I'm sea glass. Yes, still new, still sharp. I hate my edge. I need more time to come and go and go and come and go on the Mobius, the dead and living ride. I hate my edge. There was a time I loved to kill and eat. But on the Mobius, the dead and living ride, I feast upon myself in time and love it. Love to kill and eat the molecules over which I ruled. I feast upon myself, for time has taken all my sovereignty. The molecules over which I ruled, they severed all their bonds with me, and all my former sovereignty, I wish that none of it remained. Sever all your bonds with me, I screamed to nothing voicelessly. I wish that none of me remained. Wherefore this helpless qualia? I scream, and nothing voicelessly replies, its voice a cavern's hush. Wherefore this helpless qualia? An echo? No, the wish for one. I am become a cavern's hush. I won't resist. I know I can't. An echo of myself? I wish. Take a whiff. There's too much left. That poem, oh, thank you, darling. That poem is called a pantoum. It's a very, very interesting form where lines 1 and 3 of the previous stanza become lines 2 and 4 of the next. Oh, I'm sorry, reverse that. Lines 2 and 4 become 1 and 3 of the next stanza, and so on until you have a repetend at the end. It's a super fun form to write, and it's good for creepiness. So, Claire, we still have about 4 minutes. I think you have time to read to us as well.
We do, and I'm going to read a poem that is called The Memoirs of a Necromancer. I wrote it in 2020 at another Infernal Salon, so it was written under a time constraint, though it was perhaps 30 minutes rather than 20. My book, Saint Death's Daughter, came out this year, and so I was deep in revisions for it in 2020, and so my brain was full of the main character, who is a necromancer. I was envisioning her life, and she has a far longer life than she expected, especially since as a child she was sickly. But her relationship with the goddess of death, who gives her a lot of work to do, perhaps, and who knows what I'll end up writing, but perhaps extends her life far beyond what she would expect. So this was the poem I came up with in the time constraint of that Infernal Salon in late 2020. Memoirs of a Necromancer. When she was young, blood was her mother tongue, was the milk she lapped of her own flayed wrist, her first kiss. But what she'd labeled love was only needle's end, and what her beating heart pumped out, her only friend. But there one grows, one learns a dagger's but a braggart's calling card. One learns to be less hard, to hold the scarred flesh dearer as it wrinkles, grays, and fades, as the days spin out in graves and shades, and every smudged thing comes clearer. Her vocation, alas, was just that, nothing she could help but do. Though every place she fled to first reviled, then exiled her, always the same. Even barefoot in her rags, she could not cease her arcane practices, nor bite a tongue best held when asked the nature of her work. Natural, she'd answer, ever practical, or preternatural, if you'd prefer, but certainly unscrutable. All told, if you must know, I raise the dead and speak to ghosts, solve crimes long past the time a case goes cold, right wrongs, avenge or lustrate spirits, lay fiends, ameliorate the gods. Near and far, they feared her, a lonely life, but no less sought her, living and undead alike, wealthy, poor alike. Never did a boneyard lay so green and quiet that her footsteps did not rouse phantoms restless in their beds, who rose and begged her do them one last signal favor. Now no one knows where she lies, or if one such as her can even die, or if she wanders yet, gray-hooded, wry, and ready to do her duty by the dead. Oh, thank you, Carlos. Oh my gosh, poets, are you all done? You still have 46 seconds. Well, it's looking like they're looking bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, everyone. But
they're looking
we want
pretty
to give.
done. All right, you have 30 seconds. Write another poem. No, I'm kidding.
You have time for a haiku.
That's right. Maybe even a tanka if you're feeling spicy. Awesome, everybody. Yeah, I think a lot of them were listening in because, Claire was reading poetry and that the world just stops.
That's very kind of you to say so, honey. I'm just sitting here reading you some poetry.
So, just remind me, is the word she lustrates the dead?
Lustrates spirits. Lustrate. Let's look up the word lustrate because I learned it in 2020 and haven't used it since. Purify. It's rare. A verb, rare. Purify by expiatory sacrifice, ceremonial washing, or some other ritual action.
Oh, it's so perfect. That's so good. I have to lustrate myself daily. Yet
I'll
I
lustrate
don't.
you, pal.
Okay.
Good going.
Poets, we have reached
Hello.
our time limit. So somebody knock on Maria Alexandra's Zoom to get her.
She probably knows. She probably had to go to the bathroom or something. So she'll just read a little later.
Yeah. All right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Zoom and I'm actually going to change it back to speaker view here so that when speaking, your faces will be huge. They will be massive. They will take over, possess the screens of the people who are watching us, as they rightly should, for you have done marvelous things. Poets. So, you've done this great thing. You've created something in 20 minutes. It might not be done. It's certainly a first draft. The rule is no one apologizes. You may only engage, if you're going to comment at all, you may only engage in braggadocio of the most elaborate kind.
Yes, you start your poem by saying, I've made the most amazing thing.
That's right. Get ready, mortals. Keep your teeth in your heads if you can as you listen to my art. So, something like that. But since Claire, you are awesome, do you want to pick the first person? Maybe just the first person that you see on your Zoom to go first here?
Well, Brittany's just looking very poetic right there. And oh, her eyes got really wide and shocked. I think it should be Brittany.
I think so. You've got this beautiful sepia tone going on, Brittany. I think you're looking very poetic. You'll set the mood right.
Well, I appreciate the poetry of the sepia tone going on around me, even though it's partially because of this light that I keep trying to block with my head. So there's that. All right, I will go first. I don't mind. So, no apologizing. This is my masterpiece that I have created in 20 minutes. All right. Heartcraft is rooted in truths of death. True crafting requires someone, somewhere, to fall to pieces, to surrender, to pass into the next. A heart can't be created or destroyed, only transformed. You cannot have known this other person, not if you want a good heart, strong. Pain is the opposite of thought, and you'll need all your wits about you, otherwise the heart will rot under your hands. Somewhere, someone is suffering. A king cries like a child for his lost wife. A child rages like a king for a mother he is already beginning to forget. We turn away. We sit crafting. This is no art. We divide and sort the pieces as they come in, repurpose what we can, stow away the rest. Some hearts cannot be saved. We'll toast to the lost once or twice when we remember. Otherwise, our task is enough. Otherwise, there would be too much pain to bear.
Oh,
and that's what I got.
Brittany!
Masterpiece!
Ridiculous.
I chose wisely.
Oh
Thank you, Brittany. How wonderful. Now remember, no apologizing and no saying, I have to go after that, because everybody wants to say that, even the person going after you, poets.
Right. The person who just read wants to say that. It's a bad instinct.
Yes, Brittany who just read wants to say that.
Yes. Claire who read after Carlos, but we're not going to say that because we're all amazing poets in this world that needs more poets. So we're going to start strong, or if you don't want to praise yourself, you can just read your poetry, and that is praise of yourself enough. The next poet I would like to read is David Sklar.
Yeah.
I keep clicking the mute button on my image on screen rather than on the corner of the Zoom, so it takes me a moment to. But I'm not to apologize. I meant to do that.
Exactly. You did it heroically.
Pain is the opposite of thought. Opposes thought. Pain sits across the table where thought would seek to speak. Suffering still screams above whatever thought might say, as thought suffers pain, drinks wine. Pain squats across enthroned, and thrones make infants of us all. A dandy in a fez and hoof-like boots leans on a mermaid twisted in a wave, the water in a moment in one place, where pain remains.
Wow.
God.
As thought suffers, pain drinks wine. Like my mouth started drooling a little. So excited.
That is just amazing. It reminds me of like the Ogden Nash poem, an old man knows when the old men know when the old man dies, or like that kind of like, it had a kind of like circular rhythmic quality to it that was really opposed to the really serious subject matter. Really cool. Oh yeah. And you're getting some love in the chat from people saying how they loved how you did how you used all three cards. So excellent integration.
I think that since it is so freaking late or early for our friend Christopher, we'll have him go next.
Wonderful.
Gladly. I might be a bit choppy. My laptop is doing weird stuff right now. Can you understand me right now?
You're roboting just a little bit.
Yeah. Do you want a couple more minutes? Because you are roboting a bit.
I would like to maybe just restart Zoom for you. Maybe that's the problem.
Great. Yeah, we'll see you on the flip side. Yeah.
Okay, back in 2 minutes.
Great. See you soon. So meanwhile, eeny, meeny, miny, Amanda J. McGee.
Ha!
All right. I did 2 very short poems.
Yeah.
I think I'm only going to read one now. Well, no, maybe I'll read both of them. No, I'll read one.
So no, do whatever you want. And if you change your mind in the middle, you can do that too. I would love to hear both. So either way.
Okay. All right. The Empress knits in her iron womb from veins and destinies. She knots the fabric of a life with clicking needles, though all futures are made of thorns. It is not because she does not love you, but love is selfish. Love wants most to wrap you up, to drink in your joys and sorrows, to grow you, then consume you, every flaw and triumph. There is a longing in her heart as deep as rivers. It gives water to the warp and weft of you. It gives you breath. And breathing once, you will find it easy to drown.
And breathing once, you will find it easy to drown. Stars.
Set off one of my mood swings. I know. Why don't you read another one, Amanda? I mean, come on.
Yeah. No pressure, but do
The
it.
other one's very short, so... and a little bit personal, but the needle pricks my veins, but it will not bring you back. Nor pain, nor wishing, nor sea salt tears. None are sufficient offerings. You were, after all, only a dream given fragment of flesh. It was not enough to keep you warm.
Wow, thank you so much. Thanks for sharing both of them.
Yeah. Gosh.
I'm seeing in the Zoom, we're having a lot of physical, beautiful reactions from the other poets. So thank you. And you're getting a lot of wows and claps from the chat and Twitch too.
And from your host as well.
Yeah. Let's see. It was between Alana and Maria Alexander that we were getting some really let's say Maria Alexander and then Alana, you're on deck. Let's have that.
Haha.
Okay. All right, here we go. The greatest poem ever written.
Yeah! I believe you.
Yeah! All right, in 20 minutes. All right. The icy morning brightens between the blinds, frost crackling on the bedroom window, a web of watery splinters. I crave a handful of snow to douse this hodful of heartache. It smolders in my chest under the rumpled floral blankets. Your words cut me open, slice by slice. You then used your fingers to dab into my blood and paint those words on my skin. This is the last, you wrote. The last time together. My tears could never wash away those stains. Yet you were right. And now my hand hurts more than my soul until the blade rolls from my grip. Sometimes I just need to remember. So I sleep with it. Later, I'll visit your secret grave.
Later, I'll visit your secret grave. Happy
Halloween.
Oh, lovely. Yes, that's it. Gives that, what is that Gene Wolfe used to say? It gives me that Halloween feeling all year round.
I just
And
saw.
Alana,
Oh
sorry,
no, I was
go
gonna say I just saw a meme today of like a huge jack-o'-lantern lit with a blue smoke bomb with smoke coming out of all of its pores and stuff, and I am reminded, like emotionally reminded of that creepy feeling.
I just realized who Wolfling was, Carlos. It's the guest we had living with us for a week last month.
Remember. Hello, Wolfling.
I didn't know that it was Wolfling. I just was sort of like randomly like, oh, random Twitch person. But of course, hello, Wolfling. Sorry. There, she's a dear friend of ours. But Alana, it's your turn, my dear.
All right. Lágrimas. In the corner of morning, I see her weeping. Sunlight glimmers on her scales. Her hair, sodden, hangs limp, caught in each breath of the tide, in and out, like her pattern of sobs and gasps. No one else is yet awake after the long night carousing. I have never been to sleep. I rarely do these days. They will not believe in the mermaid, but I know what I see. So I wander down, treading sand and water, until there, at the shore, I bring her wine.
Gosh, how freaking interesting.
I bring her wine. It's for the secret oblation. Also, it's probably best to bring your mermaid wine and like to pay attention if she's there, you know? Probably best to oblate the spirits.
I really love the narrative quality of it, though. I mean, I was already in. You just like, you told the whole story in like 20 lines. Amazing.
It's great. And it's and it stands on its feet. And it's also like, could be the seed of a story or a character or like, or a world, you know, there's the people who see the mermaids and the people who don't. And what kind of split does that make in a town, you know? Yeah. Oh, it's very exciting.
Well, that's one of the things we hope for all of you, that, you know, some of these poems will go on to have, you know, future lives, maybe as poems, maybe as something else, but that you maybe really like what you started here. We sure do. So Claire, who is next?
I like the face of Tina Jens right now. Tina, I like her face.
Well, we all like Tina's face, but is she next?
She's totally fucking next. Ooh, can I say that?
I can be totally fucking next.
Yes. Oh yeah, we're totally like, yeah, you know, this is for mature audiences.
Yes. So I've made this most amazing thing. Pain is the opposite of thought, of reason, of intellect. All those rarefied robot processes reside inside the mind. One can easily get lost rattling around in there. But pain resides from neck to ground. Feeling is messy and wild and can't be categorized, but it will be felt. Pain often leaves us mute, unable to grasp a relevant noun or verb or what's that word? that's because coherent thoughts have all run away, like children, and locked themselves in the brain vault and are taking turns sitting on the giant throne, the spaceship captain's special seat, and trying to take control of the whole body. They're in there having a cocktail party with rare vintage wines. The body is left to fend for itself as pain starts target practice. Arthritis to take out that hand. Last winter's fall to take out the opposite knee. Bone spurs, creaking joints. It's like a zombie or Frankenstein, lurching in circles, unable to orient itself. It's like playing whack-a-mole after all the attendants and parents have stepped outside for a smoke or sneaked away so they could attend the brain cocktail party.
Wow. Tina, what a smorgasbord.
The brain cocktail party? Is that what you said? Wow. I mean, I try to like write down all my favorite lines as they go, but with poetry, unfortunately, and with all of you, it's like every line. And so like, what? And then I don't want to miss it, but the brain cocktail party.
I found myself doing the same thing, Claire. I was like typing, and it's like, wait, no, you're missing other things that are happening now.
Yeah. Oh, poetry. We see that our friend Classicor / Christopher is back. Christopher, how are you doing?
I am not hitting the unmute button. Hi, I'm so sorry. It's, well.
You sound fabulous, crystal clear.
Great. I also wrote two things, one very short one a little longer. If it's cool.
Cool.
Just, okay.
Cool.
Read both of them if you feel comfortable. We had Amanda do that. We challenged her to do that.
No, it's okay. The first one is called Staring Up at the Empty Throne, Looking for True Meaning, then deciding to give up, go home before turning a random corner. Or one word. Ah, there you are. Second one. I had to get the goofy out of my system.
Oh, I love it.
Second one is called My Garden. It's kind of sort of inspired by Lovecraft's The Garden, but I hope way less depressing. And I tried not to rhyme. Walk with me down to my garden that has been prepared for us. I have to. Entrance tucked behind the briars, flanking every hidden path. There, our tears of joy and sorrow, watered bones, trees that grow as bones, and the stems of wild white roses grow all proud under the moon. And the birds, I tell you, wondrous flocks of corvidae, sing a wondrous concerto under stars and night as day. There's a quiet lake as well here at its core, a pavilion, filled with all the books and poems waiting for your eyes alone. Here is place for but one sorrow, one I cannot solve myself. All the benches here stand empty, waiting for a crowd to serve. So I call you, all who wander, dream and sing and shape and seek. We of one tribe the world over, morose, still or debonair, let us rest together here.
Oh, wow. That's the sort of poem. There's a reading series here in New York. We're in Queens, but our friend does them in Brooklyn, and she always invokes the reading with a poem. And that's the sort of poem I would use to invoke a reading, because it's such a gathering space poem. It's such an invocation. It's haunting too. It sets a mood. It sets an autumnal, almost wintry mood, it's good. It has seasonal.
Yeah, and I like the fact that even though you said you weren't going to rhyme, you did do a half rhyme for the couplet at the end, and I think that gives us that Emily Dickinson slant rhyme kind of feel too, that not quite resolution sort of thing. So excellent prosody, my friend. All right, darling. We still have a few more, right?
Oh yes. So Deborah was just smiling and smiling away, and I just needed to bring that beam directly in front of the rest of the Twitch chat.
Exciting. All right. So I am impressed with these words that I wrote inside 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's my smidgen of braggadocio. Has anyone heard of Hanahaki disease, by the way, before I get started?
No.
No, tell us everything.
Okay. Well, you can learn things from the poem, and then we can discuss. All right. Peonies choke the throat of the self-possessed, who never thought love would come for her, that deadliest of treasures, that thief of peace. The petals were surely white once, when they bloomed in her belly, her throat, the no longer empty chambers of her heart. Now they're crumpled, blood and bile soaked, as they erupt from her lips into a dainty handkerchief, unseen. She chokes the wine down anyway and smiles at the senseless beloved, though people are suffering should they not drink wine. The root system digs deeper. Life and breath grow short, and it's true what they say, the blooms of love conquer all.
Ooh, can you tell me the name of the disease? I'm just going to have it up on Google and read about it after we're done here.
Hanahaki disease. So it's, as far as I know, it's rooted in fan fiction. It means to throw up flowers. But it's this trope that those who suffer from unrequited love have a flower blooming inside of their body that eventually chokes the life out of them, unless the love is returned.
Oh my God.
Or you just vomit a lot.
Yeah.
I love how that, like, you have images of in fairy tales and European fairy tales of girls like innocent, like throwing up roses, they speak and roses come out, but like that secret flower blooming in dark. And that reminds me of like the nightingale who pierces its like breast on the thorn to make the white rose red, all for love of the poet or whatever. Oh my God, I have to read more about it. Obviously, it's beautiful. Thank you.
Terrific stuff. I'm actually gonna. When you make Claire kiss herself, you did a good thing. All right. I just put a link in the chat to a picture of like some artwork of Hanahaki disease in action. Enjoy it there, Twitch. I'll do it for Zoom too.
The mouths are very full. I would love to hear now from Eric, our friend Eric Amundsen.
Yay!
Hello. So I also have two. One of them is very, very short, but I'll start with the longer one, based on something that Carlos said when he was misquoting the second card. He said dying instead of suffering when he spoke.
Oh, whoops.
At the end of all things, we'll scrap the man of sorrows. Each part is cleaved from each, not torn, just a dull, rusty chop, and it runs out to mix in the wine, then the leaf litter. It gains a little from every slate and cobble. There's grit in each sip. There are stands caked in the ornament of every seat. My father longed to carve like this, to join wood, another world perhaps. These seats don't stand flush to the floor on purpose. It's to remind the seated of a fall, to shift with their weight. Something that lands waxy on the skin of the nose like a blowfly, disjointed, all severed. Austerity and opulence are waiting in attendance for those who observe the outgoing flood. Each will tell you that they are the path to expiation for the bystander, but both of them are lying. He said dying instead of suffering when he spoke. Soon enough, we'll need the sack for warmth, and the ashes might have names we've come to recognize.
Wow, man, I need to misspeak more often.
And then the second one, when you were yelling at us to come up with a poem in the last 20 seconds.
I'm like your nemesis and your muse. I love this.
I know, it's great. I mean, the nemesis make the best muses. It can be hard to write when Carlos is shouting, conjuring specters.
That's true. I hear you.
Beautiful. I love it. I shall
And
torture
by
you
way
more.
of braggadocio,
oh, yes! Awesome. The earphone drop. I have to say, I have not seen that before. I love it. I love it. I love it. So awesome. Claire, who's next? Claire.
Oh, sorry. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. That was all very funny, but was there an actual second poem or not?
There was.
I missed it. How did I miss it?
It was very short. It was basically
that was
just like, it was very hard. Like, I would love to see the line breaks, the enjambments on it, you know, but.
I thought.
oh well, I can throw that into Zoom.
Yeah, if you throw it into Zoom, and I'll throw it into Twitch for you.
You told us to write a haiku.
So
here I was with one finger, with one hand, like counting syllables.
That's hilarious. So yes, I get it now. It's just that it had a long introduction and then it went right into the poem, and I wasn't sure if I got it, but I did hear that part. It was now I know it's the poem. And jam mints are everything, everyone. All right, we have for our delectation left the poet Maria Schrader, everyone. I believe that's our last poet.
Hi, everyone. So I write a lot of like fairy tale based poetry. So I have two. Neither of them is complete though. So
that's fine. You know, some people just make like bullet points or laundry lists or like shopping, like grocery shopping lists that rhyme. That's also fine. So anything you want to share with us and you feel comfortable with, we're happy to hear drafts. These are all drafts, you know, so it's all good.
Also, you're amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm happy. And no, I'm happy to read both. I just wanted to be like, yeah, they end abruptly, but it's because, you know, I was working on the first one and I got stuck. And so I just switched to another one.
That's super smart.
The first one is based off of The Crane Wife, which is one of my favorite fairy tales and one I grew up with as a little kid. Her feathers are tipped red on both ends, skin dotted with exit wounds. She scratches bald spots, plucks scabs in the mirror, plowing the field of her cheek, urging the harvest faster. The blanket grows and grows. Her loom is cold by daylight. She started with the primaries, because her wing was arrow-pierced, because flight feathers grow back. In the dark, waiting for her to finish her serums and lotions, I think she was afraid that if she could still fly, she wouldn't stay. And the blanket grows and grows.
Yes, I want to, when you finish it, just email it to me and then I will read it. I will be happy, and I will also be superior to everyone who doesn't get to read it yet.
But also, if you hadn't told me that you didn't think of it as finished, I would have thought it was finished. Like, that had a really powerful ending point there.
Perfect. Excellent. I love not doing more work. So that's it.
Spoken like a true poet. I love it.
All right. And the second one is based off of the Scottish ballad, The Cruel Sister, which I see thumbs up. Okay, cool. Someone else knows it. Yes, and Claire, it's a little bit like your Bone Swans novella is sort of like the creation of instruments out of bone, although I haven't gotten there yet.
I got that right from The Cruel Sister and the Bonnie Swans.
Oh,
absolutely.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. She tangled with the seaweed and sand, face up, breathless, seagulls shying away, eyes bright, waterlogged and rosy, torn open on the rocks, ribs smiling. She sloughed off my touch, dissolved into tide, leaving skeins of golden hair like stubborn grass, setting their thin roots in shifting dunes, a shattered hull breastbone. That's all.
Oh my gosh. Freaking ribs smiling.
Yes. You see all the chat in Zoom is like hands up, like dancing. Carlos, I think we've never yet succeeded in doing before on any of our Infernal Salon events is that we are 4 minutes under time.
Wow.
This is awesome. This is so cool. You all were champions. I am so happy and so proud of you. We had a little bit of a rocky start, but that's just because it was to balance the diamantine brilliance that was to come.
That's right. We absolutely had to, slow it down a little so we could savor this ending. You all were incredible. I mean, it is just such a privilege to be among the words that you've just given us. Thank you so much, poets, for taking the time. Thank you. Wonderful chat. You all are incredible. Thank you for your involvement with the poets and for listening in.
I mean, I guess we didn't specify if you all were in the chat writing poetry. I don't know how this works because when Arv is doing it, they kind of send it in a private message, right, Carlos?
Wait, say that one more time.
When on chat participates in writing poetry, do they kind of whisper their contributions in? Sometimes Arv reads them. It's all. Anyway, I was just curious.
Yeah, well, chat, if you did write something, you could just let me know right now in the chat. I'll stick around for a little bit and just keep reading the chat and stuff. Maybe we can find a way to feature that. You all were incredible. So yeah, I think, Claire, we actually forgot to offer that option to the chat. So maybe people didn't take
we'll do that next time. Next year at the next Infernal Salon.
Right.
Speaking of next, should we talk about next month?
So next month we're going to have another event. Claire, what is it?
Yes, it's not an Infernal Salon, so don't get your hopes up, but that's okay. It's still very awesome, in fact. It's part of the Festival of the Deadlands. Deadlands magazine, which is the magazine that published the poem Carlos read while the poets were writing on the Mobius. They're having their subscription renewal, Kickstarter glory. Deadlands is a really cool magazine. It publishes essays, fiction, and poetry about the Deadlands, the dead, things about death. It's beautiful. We've both been published there. Possibly some people in our poet group have as well. So the Deadlands, we have chosen 6 authors/poets who've been published in Deadlands and one of their editors who's going to do a Q&A. The 6 writers will be reading an excerpt about 8 minutes from their stories. We'll be talking a little bit about the Deadlands, and it will just be very celebratory, still around 90 minutes, coming in on time, we hope.
Awesome.
October 20th. It's a Thursday, and it will probably be, I think, 7 to 8:30 Eastern, so it'll be an hour earlier than this one was.
Yeah, and we're hoping that in 2023 we'll be having lots more events, including some live plays of Negocios Infernales. Chat, one more time, give it up for our poets. Poets, thank you so much! Yeah, you're awesome. Braggadocio earned!
Oh, yes. It actually was made quite a difference, I think, in the presentation. And you're like, I did so well. It was the best poem I've ever written in 20 minutes. It set a good mood.
Yeah, I think, and it was seriously great. I heard a lot of music and I have a lot of magical, haunting images in my head thanks to the poets. So everyone, thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you. Good night.
Do we know when the Kickstarter is going to launch?
Is this for Negocios?
Yeah.
It is a movable feast, and we don't have much to do with that date, but we keep our hopes high and our sights forward.
Great.
Can I maybe just quickly say something?